Good morning. I'm Derek, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my fan game project, my passion project. And here is the version that the latest version I had when Games Workshop changed their IP policy about fan projects. And I kind of let it go onto the wayside a little bit. Everybody here on the left are people who helped me out one way or the other, or gave me advice, or created files that I used. And I also want to thank Blood God. I asked them many years ago if I could use their project, and one day I'm gonna tell that is an interesting story about what happened to Blood God. When I was working on this project, I had no focus really, and that's what I was doing. I wanted to attract a writer, so I could just focus on the experience, the art of it, the look and feel, because that's what interested me. And I was talking to a friend who helped me really narrow down the focus to something that that is doable, and keeping everything that I want, like planets that are to scale to the spaceship. So Earth should be 13,000 times larger than this little frigate, and so that took a lot of little tricks to learn. And I didn't want the mass of a spaceship to disappear once it got blown up. I wanted it to get blown up and have a big dust cloud and a lot of debris, but I wanted its gravity, its mass, to be there. So I'm trying to create the scale of the planets correctly and the mass of the spaceships correctly, because I want the game to create its own space hulks. Okay. And now I'll talk about black ships, which is, I think, the direction that we're going to go, because it's something that's doable. It allows the player a lot of autonomy, and we are starting 7 years after the heresy in the age of the Scouring, and we see here an Emperor's Tarot. So at the beginning of each age, the game will throw down a tarot card, and that's going to help define define the flavor of that age. So it should be a unique experience every time. It's not quite following the lore precisely, because that would be easier, but it's filling in the gaps on some lost history, maybe, but it's mostly just letting the player get lost in the warp and have that feeling. So let me hit F2 to remove the tactical map. So if I can see here, I got my tactical map. I can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. And what do we see here? We see the sector name, and that is the player's home sector. That is where the player would travel to pick up the Imperial Tithe and bring that back to Terra. That's it. So it's go there and come back with this cargo, with this very dangerous cargo of Imperial Tithe. And so what else is happening? We see the sphere and a little sphere, and then, you know, like a translucent square towards that that sector. Now if I hit the F2 button again, it resets the camera to a specific height. But here we have, well, what, you know, space looks like. Do we? Yeah. And what I wanted with the space, I wanted it to look like a drawing. I wanted it to look kind of like old school Warhammer. This twirly ready thing in the background is supposed to be the Eye of Terror. It doesn't look great. Let's see what other... It looks better if you see it in the galaxy map. Let me see if I can zoom out. You see now the Eye of Terror looks pretty nice, I think. And we have a bit of the galaxy. This is, of course, 7 years. If we look at our imperial date on the bottom, we're about 7 years after the heresy. And we got this 2 circles, these 2 translucent circles. One is our home system, and the other one that's a little bit more to the top in the center, that's Terra. So we're not going that far. We're going to slow down some of those obscuring clouds. And let's see, let's turn that map back off. And we're just sitting in space, idling our engines. So, which way's Terra? Well, I can cheat, and I got everything in the F2 key. I should be able to... Well, we know that Terra, if we look at our... And this is supposed to be the fun part, is navigating. We know that Terra is going to be... core word and between us and the eye. So let's see if I can find which direction we're going by moving a little bit. We're getting a little bit too many particles there. Let's see, there's the eye. We're heading right towards it. So we'll move right there. I don't know if that bright star in the middle, see, is the F key, is going to nullify all of our momentum. So that'll be the F key and spacebar to go forward. And let's see, let me turn on F3, which is our warp vision. And here we should see the Astronomicon normally. And there's a audio cue clue as well, because you can hear that angelic choir the closer you get to Terra. And I was updating about once a week up until GW changed their IP policy. Let's see. We're cheating, but let us negate all our movement with the F key, and then with the space bar we're giving ourselves some momentum. And if we zoom in with the up and down numeric keypad, we just saw that problem I was working on. That's the bug. Right now I'm not able to move more than 100,000 units because I've got my code backwards because I'm an artist, not really a programmer. And it's just jumping us back when it's supposed to be jumping the entire universe. I just got to switch those two objects in the code, I think. But I've got a Rubik's Cube here I've had for years that I can't solve. I'm not a logical person. So a lot of fuck around and find out and trial and error for me. So we have our kind of beautiful spaceship that we can't really see because the particle effects on the engine are not scaled correctly. Center of the Milky Way right there. As we let's really increase our, we can see things with the F3 key, the psychic view, that we can't see in the real space view. And it has actually just putting us back because I have a bug that if I move 100,000 units, it's the galaxy that's supposed to move 100,000 units, not the player, and I've just got the objects pointed at wrong. But unfortunately, this is the latest version that I put up. I do have a somewhat newer version, but I think there's no space travel at all in that one. I'm just focusing on trying to get the planet size to work, and it might actually have the exact same issue because it's just a logic issue. Alright, what else is happening here? We see these streaks, and they are that's a little complicated because I'd have to. I'm gonna fix some of these errors, update. Work on what these buttons will do. But what they do is here's a chaplain I painted because it's desperate and just doing these things quick. So here is a character that you have in the game. You know, I just used some very dorky Space Marine art that I made a long time ago that I don't know, it's might be worth it. I was working out how to do Space Hulks, how to explore Space Hulks. So here's the Space Marine and his very standard, everybody knows what this should mean. And these numbers will change over time based on what he does, what the Space Marine does, what happens to him, and these choices. I've not made the actions yet. And in Life of a Space Marine, I'll do a little tour of that as well because I think it's just kind of neat how to explore, more roguelike exploring, and it's got a lot of work to do. In fact, it's going to be so much easier just to take the stuff that works and rebuild it up from scratch, with the focus being on the player is going to a planet to collect the tithe in their black ship and coming back. But as I looked at our ancient Greek personality types and just thinking of different ways, because the Space Marines' temperament, their journey, their fighting doctrine, and their actions will define their personality and their ability slats. So that's the idea there. And needs some work and needs some fleshing out, but just focusing on getting from Terra to this random, it should be a random location every time you start, so I could test out seeing Terra from different places. But you'll be given a home sector with at least one planet to visit and collect the tithe from and go back to Terra. And that's it, just over and over again. And hopefully with a lot of interesting decisions to make along the way. And, lots of guys dying in interesting ways because, that makes for great art. And got a lot of the basics in. Could just use help running it. Could use some help writing it. And mostly I consider myself an artist, but I thank you for your patience. It's been a long time since I made a video about the fan game, and it's the very first time that I got a working microphone. So thank you for your patience. I'm going to work on the sound. And I'm going to update Black Ships very, very soon.